Hello, and
Hello.
holy echo there. Jeez. Hello, and welcome to the Schooner Pod Cotton Bowl preview. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me today, as always, for one last time this season, Jamison Maxwell, Ty Lee, and we are here to break down the 2028, well, no, not AT&T Cotton Bowl anymore, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. OU Florida, this is a great matchup. Honestly, as far as bowls could go, this is as fun of a matchup as we've seen in years out of OU because, Florida's good, but they're not like Alabama, overwhelmingly good. But they're also not like that Auburn team we played a couple years ago who was just garbage. So we're looking at a very good football game, very good matchup. Jamison, your first thoughts on the Florida Gators this year and how they match up?
I think this will be a really fun game. I talked about how this would be a fun matchup if we somehow got in the Orange Bowl, kind of just to brush that, the last championship game we were in off our shoulders. But, this honestly is a good matchup for us. I think this will be good for the idea of the Big 12 versus SEC, as Big 12 is this horrible defense and only good offense versus a team that has an SEC that has a great offense. I feel like this could really change the mantra of what the SEC is versus the Big 12. And I think there's a lot on the line on that when it comes down to the reputation of our conference. So I'm really excited that even though I wanted Texas A&M because it would be really nice to beat them for recruiting purposes and their fans are extremely annoying, this would be really good for the reputation of our conference.
Absolutely. And for OU as a whole, who constantly keeps getting beat by, Alabama and, these really high level teams. It'll be nice to see OU on that stage against a team that's not Nick Saban's Alabama team. Ty, how are you feeling about Florida early?
Yeah, I'm for one, again, super excited. I think it's going to be a really cool, matchup. I think it's a really good, really solid matchup. I think, this is the first time in a while that OU has had a matchup that's a team that's on our level. Everyone remembers obviously getting, really exposed by people because we kind of got screwed by our brand name in some of the playoffs. And then, that Auburn team that was not on our level. I think it hurts to say it, but I think you'd have to go back to 2017 Georgia to see a matchup that was, this well picked for OU in the postseason. So that's super exciting. And I agree with Jamison. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, we have a little bit of a weaker schedule, but we do have a better defense. Which is super exciting to maybe flip the narrative there a little bit. Florida has had a really good offense under Dan Mullen. I think, a lot of our listeners might be aware of this, being Cowboys fans, but Dan Mullen is really the guy that created Dak Prescott. If you want to say, obviously Dak's skill, but Mullen really developed him at Mississippi State, and that's tremendous to see what Mississippi State was when he got there. To being, the quarterback that he is in the NFL now. So Mullen is a good offensive mind and a really solid coach overall. So this might be a preview of a game that occurs in the playoffs in the next few years as well. So that's super exciting.
Yeah, Florida definitely on the rise. Dan Mullen has that program in the right direction for sure. But talking about perception and everything, you can even see it, early on this week. Florida linebacker James Houston said that OU is a good matchup, but not on their level. They're not SEC, and they're not the Florida Gators. Which, I'm sure we've heard a lot of that SEC, bluster about how their teams are on this different level. And my theory has always been it's just like Alabama steamrolling everyone, and then you have one good SEC team every other year. But we'll see. This is going to be a really interesting game. And, it obviously is just an exhibition, doesn't have any, doesn't do anything. You're not going to get an extra win for next year. But in terms of perception, in terms of recruiting, in terms of the brand name OU, going up against the SEC, this is huge. I would say this is just about as much of a must win in a relatively useless game as you can get, because it's invaluable to be in this position. So it'd be very huge for you to get this win. Now, Jamison, bit of a weird week here, weird bowl season because as we've seen this season, a lot of delays, a lot of bye weeks. technically, this is one of our shorter breaks this season, only a week and a half instead of 2 full weeks. So, and not only that, but both OU and Florida have sent their players home for the holidays. So not a lot of prep time. Usually you have these big gaps between conference championships and the bowl games, but not so here. In fact, not as much as a normal week. How's that going to affect OU and Florida going into this?
This is the end of the season, so I don't know if we can read too much into that. There's going to be a lot of, I'm sure, mobile meetings through Zoom of, watching film, what to expect, the tendencies of Kyle Trask for the defense. What does he like to look at? What is that defense, offense going to look like without Kyle Pitts? Who's he going to lean on? And then on the offensive side, I'm sure there's plenty to expose. Florida's defense really isn't that good at all. That's where I don't get where it comes from. Jamar Houston, really, I understand that SEC recruits on a higher level, and typically have better players that go to the draft. But Oklahoma is a top 20 defense this year, according with NCAA's total defense. We're not something to blink an eye at. And the dude that was talking big game only has 1 sack on the year, and a dude who on our team who's played half the season has 5.5 in Ronnie Perkins. So I think there's a lot of time to talk. And it worked really well when LSU did it. They talked the same kind of thing, and then they went out and whooped us. So if anyone who's been on this roster and for the LSU game last year has that kind of sour taste in their mouth in the way that Patrick Queen talked on us, let's go out and show them up this time.
Absolutely. Ty, what do you think about the value of smack talk in this situation? Or does that play in our favor or Florida's here?
I don't buy into the whole smack talk really being a deciding factor, because obviously, like Jamison sort of hinted at, you can find examples of smack talk on either side. Baker telling Baylor that he's going to have to spank him, and then proceeding to go and spank them. So it's or examples where guys talk big game and then underperform. So I don't really know that that's a huge factor in this game. I think the bigger factor, like you hinted at, in both teams having a very short amount of time and then also sending their players home, which is the right thing to do, for the holidays, is going to be who takes the prep more seriously. I think that was the deciding factor last night in that Coastal Carolina Liberty game. I think Liberty, you could tell, was taking it more seriously and had prepared more seriously than Coastal, who was, I think, partying out their thing. And I don't want to take us down a side trail, but yeah, I don't know. I hate to make a call on smack talk beforehand because I'm not sure it's a factor in how the overall teams are going to play.
It probably isn't. More than anything, it's going to be, the amount of time you have to prepare for a team that you're not very familiar with at all. As OU and Florida have only played once, that Tim Tebow national championship game loss, we would have won with DeMarco Murray. So now we have DeMarco Murray as a coach. So hopefully that helps.
And I'm really pro. I do want to say I'm really pro smack talk. More or less, to an extent, because I think it makes it more interesting. Those rivalries between individual players in the NBA, or that's what the entire WWE is based on, is just smack talk and stuff like that. So I think there's a huge want for it and market for it in sports. It's obviously you can cross the line, but I think it makes it more interesting because you give people more of a storyline either way. So there is something to it there, I think.
Pro smack talk, anti Buki though.
Okay, you have to back it up. You have to be able to back it up at least sometimes.
Fair enough. Again,
I'm not anti. If Buki talked smack and then performed, then he would be like, everyone loves the Boz in the '80s. That's a perfect. Well, okay, maybe not in the postseason, but or against Miami, but that's a perfect example. Like he talked smack on Texas and then stomped Texas. You can't.
Fair enough.
For years talk smack and then just constantly get exposed. Buki's the second grader that constantly wants to play basketball with the fifth graders and then just keeps getting exposed every play and keeps talking smack.
I feel like he's all right. I don't even know how playable he'll be against Florida, a little bit larger opponent there. But let's talk about the actual game here. And biggest circle here has to be Kyle Trask, the remarkable quarterback out of Florida. A very impressive season. Throw the LSU game out because they clearly didn't care about that one. I think the Trask we saw against Alabama and the Trask we saw throughout the season is probably the Trask we're going to see come Wednesday. Jamison, looking into this, how do you feel about Trask? Obviously missing a massive weapon in Kyle Pitts, who is just a remarkable tight end. Definitely gave me shades of, just like a souped up Charlie Kohler. That probably would have murdered us. But how is Trask going to perform without one of his greatest weapons? And what do you see going forward? Because he's probably would be the best quarterback in the Big 12 this year.
Yes, especially whenever the first team all Big 12, according to the coaches, was Iowa State's extremely mediocre quarterback. Thankfully, we had a new AP first team Big 12 come out, and Spencer Rattler made it, which made more sense. But yeah, Kyle Trask is good. I feel like a lot of fans did watch that LSU game and thinks that, he might be kind of a turnover-prone quarterback. He's not. He's 5 interceptions this year on 42 touchdowns. That's extremely, really, really accurate. I wouldn't think that, Speed D is going to really get too much on him. But the guy to worry about, really, when it comes down to the passing attack for Florida is Kadarius Toney. And he is their leading receiver. Kyle Pitts gets all of the hype. But Kadarius Toney is the speed wide receiver. He has 27 more catches than Kyle Pitts, and plus has 10 touchdowns on the year. And without Trey Brown on the outside for our speed guy, it might be a little tough. I would normally say without Trey Brown, we shouldn't worry too much because our cornerback, we at least have some comparable guys that can back him up, and DJ Graham and, Jaden Davis. But now we don't really have our speed guy to cover him. So it might be a little dicey with Toney.
Yeah. That does sound pretty bad because the Florida speed, that SEC speed, is something that's hard to counter at times, especially without your burner. As we saw last year against Baylor, the guy can flat out move. So we're gonna miss Trey Brown here, and again, the man just flat out plays well in the AT&T Stadium. So having our greatest weapon in that stadium would be very nice. But hey, I'm all for it. Go chase that money, Trey. We're a pro player podcast for sure. Go do that instead of playing in a useless game. But Ty, what are your thoughts on Speed D versus Florida versus Trask, and how you think they'll hold up?
Yeah, so I want to bring up one really important factor that is, I think, super scary to OU fans, and that's a quarterback that can not only throw but can move it with his legs. Not just a Johnny Manziel type. There's some trauma for OU fans, but even like a Sam Ellinger, like a fullback. And you look at Kyle Trask, dude is 6'5", 240 pounds, so he's a big dude. So when I saw that, when I was doing my research for the pod, I started to get worried there. But then I looked at his rushing stats, and this year he has 61 attempts for 50 yards. And his career rushing stats are 129 attempts for 54 yards. So I'm not too worried about him rushing unless he gets literally 200 carries, and then he might have a 100-yard game against us. But it's good to see that is more or less not a threat, because that can be an issue, and I think what that enables us to do is they're going to have to limit their sets to having someone else in the backfield with him if we want to really have a run threat, or have to cover a run threat. But if they don't, I think we're going to be able to lean on our linebackers a little bit more to adjust some coverage and some schemes to help counter some of the losses and some of the mismatches in the secondary. So I almost said in the backfield, in the secondary, and I think that that factor is a really important one. Not to say that they're not a team that can run, and they definitely can play call, but that's a good thing. OU fans take a sigh of relief there, and I really hope I don't get memed, but it will be exceedingly rare if this man is able to rush at all, because I'm just assuming he's super slow.
Yeah, no, he is. He's no Trill Sammy, that's for sure. What is Trask's nickname? Is it? Do we just gonna call him Trill Kyle over here?
No, I'm sure.
I don't like it.
Do some research.
I don't know. We need to look into that. But moving on to the OU offense and some opportunities they have against Florida's defense. Jamison touched on this earlier that he didn't believe Florida had a particularly great defense as compared to, let's say, some of like LSU last year. What opportunities do you see OU taking here?
Yeah, I mean, I think really we're going to have to lean on Spencer Rattler again. I feel like teams this year have seen success in stopping our offense by limiting Ramondre Stevenson. We saw that a little bit in the second half of the Iowa State game. We saw that what Oklahoma State tried to do, but Spencer Rattler just lit them up. And I see teams kind of going out, if we can stop the run game, we can pressure a young quarterback who hasn't been in this moment. And I think that's a good idea for Florida. I understand Florida's stats on defense haven't been that well, but they still have players. They still got 5-star SEC talent. And I think this game, if we want to win it, we are the betting underdog. We should be leaning on Spencer Rattler to win the game for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Let him throw the ball. But the offensive line also has to give him enough time. Dealing with elite athletes like Florida has. There is a size disparity, and the O-line has definitely been a bit of a weakness for us this season, which has been a little frustrating because it's not supposed to be. So giving Rattler enough time to create, to work on it, find guys like Mims, that's going to be very crucial here. Ty, what are you thinking about offensively that OU can exploit Florida here?
Yeah, so I think the real, and this is, I don't want to get too sort of conspiracy theory or throw this game away, but I think the real big brain move that Lincoln Riley can make here is not too much, but I think that he should make it very clear to Spencer Rattler that this game is his and the offense is going to be dependent on him. Because I want to get Rattler experience in a big national game like this with low prep. I want us to, not take off any pressure that we can. I don't want to try to break him, or I don't want to try to make us lose the game, but I want us to make it very clear to him and sort of artificially put some of that pressure on him to give him experience in a game like this. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, win or lose this one, obviously it has huge strategic impacts for brand name and recruiting, but still a 2-loss season. And we've been saying for a few years that next year, meaning the 2021 season, is going to be one of our best shots in a long time. And I think a lot of people agree with that nationally. And doing everything that we can to make this season truly a stepping stone for that one, I think, is really the big, delayed gratification goal there. So I want to do everything to win this game, but I also think that I agree our offense should run through Rattler, and he should be aware of that so that he can build that experience. And I think that the Texas game this year was a huge advantage for this game because I think the Texas game is, it's a regular season bowl game, more or less. In terms of national attention and neutral site and everything. And I think it's a huge advantage that OU and Texas have nationally in that game. So I want that to happen. And I'm sure it will to some extent.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about that, you think about the Big 12 championship as well. Rattler's had to endure some really intense environments at Iowa State as well. So he's been on the big stage. And I think as the season's gone on, he's gotten more comfortable. And I think, again, this just ups the ante even more. Let's see how he can handle, a massive stage like this against a solid SEC opponent. And I'm excited to see what he does. But also, hey, we got to break out the Chandler Morris goal line package on him if we can. So wouldn't that be
two times in a row would be really dirty.
Oh my god, exactly.
And we got to make him throw it this time. If we make him throw it, that might be something.
Oh man,
that might be something.
You just got mossed by Chandler Morris. Just corner fade Chandler Morris. I love it. I need that in my life. Oh boy. But Yeah, no, I think in a way the offense has an advantage. Both offenses have an advantage over their respective defense they're playing because of the lack of prep time. I feel like that's a little bit harder to prepare for. I think offensively, you can run, you can run script, you can run plays that you've been doing all season, but without having a extensive, scout run, where you're actually going up against fake Kyle Trask and, simulating what the other team's offense is like. That's always a bit of a downside for a defense because the amount of time, in going up against a fake, offense for a bowl season, it's that's huge. And not having like really any time to simulate that, I think that's going to be to the detriment of both defenses. I could see this thing getting into some real shootout territory.
Yeah, and that would definitely be good for Big 12's reputation because, we're losing offensive players to SEC when it comes down to recruiting because their offenses are starting to get better. If we can win this game and shoot out Florida, that'd be really positive. But I do want to say this before we move on and talk about different things. We do have some preparation in this. Yes, we sent them home, but it's not like, it's final exams came along and you're just saying, screw it, I just need to pass, and you just don't even care. It's one of those where it's like the final exam came along, like, we'll just take a break for a little bit and I'm going to study for a couple of days before and we should be good. We're still doing a good enough, preparation for this, but at the same time, still letting our kids be kids and enjoy their families at home. I know that we have been running, scout teams and stuff like that recently. So from the reports people have been posting. So we should be right.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying that they're not running any scout team. I'm just saying like the amount of time is a little bit different than you usually would have. And I think that's more due to the shortened season than anything. And that's totally fine. It's more just a note on how this bowl season's a little bit different than prior ones. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. I'm all really excited for it. A huge opportunity for Oklahoma here to make a statement. Anything you want to say before we move on to Cruton Corner and some other stuff?
I do.
Yeah, you go for it, Ty.
Okay, so I was going to say I do want to say that we should sort of flip the chessboard around here, and I think if you're a Florida fan, you probably see it, and I think Florida's team probably sees it as a huge opportunity as well because for the past 5-6 years, OU has been a conference champion. And they've been in the playoffs, and we've been sort of in the national limelight, perennial top 10. Florida has not. They are on the come up, and I understand, the line is flipped around, and they're sort of favored right now, and they think they're better. But this, I think, is a bigger game for them than it is for us, and I hope that that's not a deciding factor because for them, this could be their, Florida's back moment, more or less. And for us, I don't think that this game has that same significance. So I hope that that's not a deciding factor, but I always like to look at things from all the angles, and I don't want us to not mention that on the off chance that we get some Florida person watching.
Absolutely. And, it is a big game for Florida, and I think it's a big bowl game for Florida as well, as they finally get to play a team other than Michigan. So that's got to be exciting for them. Because it's always a loop of playing Michigan in the bowl game. It makes zero sense.
They've been very similar teams, honestly, for the past few years.
I don't know if I'd say that. Michigan significantly. Like Florida has disappointed. The Muschamp era was not great. But Michigan, that's just an insult right there in a way.
I don't want to enrage. I don't want to enrage Florida fans. But they're pretty similar to Michigan, I think.
They are. Dan Mullen is a far better coach. The difference is Michigan went down and is sort of plateaued, and they're just meeting Florida while Florida's on the up. Dan Mullen, by far, a better coach.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Dan Mullen would have been the best coach.
They're just at the crossing point right now.
The Florida-Michigan crossing point, the crossroads. Oh,
they've reached the singularity.
Speaking from a fan perspective, Jamison, I know you were at the 2008 national championship that OU lost. I'm really wanting this one for OU because of just how brutal those Florida fans were at the time. I'll never forget 11, 12-year-old Bobby trying to leave and getting accosted with gator bait, chants, and they weren't super pleasant fans to be around. And I don't know. I want that revenge. I don't know if I speak for a lot of OU fans here, but I do not forget things like that. I still hate USC, still hate Florida, still hate Georgia. Those things stick with me. So getting revenge, getting back at that'll feel really good.
Absolutely. I not every single team that beats us in a big game I hate. I feel like Oklahoma has that a lot. Like somehow, like we hate Boise State. That was just an unfortunate reason to lose. Clemson, I do not hate Clemson fans at all. They are so nice to me. We met this nice lady, and she gave us a couple beers before the whole game. And she's like, hey, I got a cooler of beer. Y'all boys want some? And I was like, absolutely. This fan is so nice. Just sat and talked to this nice 50-year-old woman and her nephew for a long time. Very hospitable fans. I did hate the CLEMSOM, but that's not Clemson's fault. But yeah, Florida fans, gator chomping at a little kid, that scarred me. I did not take that game very well. It really hurt me inside. So yes, I do want revenge. They are on the level of the Georgia Bulldogs barking in my face, but I was an adult whenever Georgia fans barked in my face, which I don't know if it's any better. I don't know if that's any better if you did it to a kid or not, but still, yes, I'm hurt from the Florida days. And I do want revenge.
Ty, I mean, I'm with you. I want that revenge bad. Ty, what's worse? Being a kid and being barked at by a grown man, or being an adult and being barked at by a grown man?
I honestly don't know. Maybe if you're the victim of the barking, probably an adult, because you can just really comprehend how just insane that person has to be. As a kid, I think I would just be, because I lived in Florida for a little bit. I lived in Palm Beach, right down the street from that dude that has all the documentaries on him now that didn't kill himself. And what? Jamison got it. And
let's not go into it.
Okay.
And anyways, I remember going to I remember going to like restaurants and stuff when there'd be Florida games, because Florida's actually a really solid academically school. So you have a lot of Florida men that can't get in, but are just diehard fans. And I remember like sitting there trying to eat like a hamburger or something while a Florida game was on, and these like drunk like people in like cutoffs. And we were at like a nice restaurant, like kept running up to every table, like gator chopping and stuff. And I was like very confused at the time when I was little. So I can imagine that as an adult, probably be a little more disturbed, because I comprehend just how insane you have to be doing that around a Ruth Chris or something. But yeah.
I don't know. I just realized I completely missed the opportunity at putting the "Am I being detained?" gator as our logo for the week. Which, again, I'm kicking myself over here. I think we should just redo the entire podcast.
Go up on the Instagram.
Am I being detained? I just wish OU had a logo that was as wonderful as the "Am I being detained?" gator.
Yeah. And we don't have like a chomp or like a bark. We have boomer. And honestly, I'm at the point where like I get embarrassed almost at the games to yell boomer because it's so sad. Like the boomer Sooner chants of just get worse. Because
there's no one there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even last year.
We need a hand signal.
Yeah, I feel like people are almost embarrassed to yell boomer. Like it's like they're too cool for it now. And it's we don't have something like the chomp or barking. That people should be embarrassed to bark at kids or adults.
Yeah. We need a song. The songs are the best. Like if we had like a remix of like Oklahoma or something, like Bama has that one.
Oh no!
Or like the LSU one.
The Thunder tried the remix of Oklahoma with Hinder, and it was not good.
Yeah,
man.
But what's the one that Bama has, or no, that LSU has? I forget what it's called, but like a traditional song, but like the fans have their own very vulgar lyrics for it. See, that's where the Thunder went wrong. They tried to have a clean version.
Oh yeah, well,
you gotta have the fans out there like suck that rumble dick, bitch.
Oh my god,
like the whole peak, like yelling at LeBron.
Oh my god, yeah,
rumble with his slight little open mouth, just looking there.
Oh my god, I think the Thunder have, or not the Thunder, sorry, A&M Not A&M, dang. Alabama has the Rammer Jammer Yellow Hammer thing, like we just beat the hell out of you, whatever.
Well, yeah, and they have like Dixieland Delight that they.
Oh, you're talking like a real song.
Yeah, but LSU has that one, that I just referenced there with the Thunder. I forget what the actual name is called.
It's neck.
Neck, yeah.
Yeah. Talking out the side of your neck, yeah.
If we had something like neck, that would be. Cool.
Yeah,
Oklahoma fans would be enraged if we had something like that. Can you imagine all of the Gooners going like, "We can't have any of this thing. Those people down in the Southeast ain't nothing like us."
Yeah, they got all mad.
They're not. It's a different culture. That's a sidebar, but Oklahoma is very different from Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi.
They tried to do Never Been to Spain for a while, and it just didn't work because nobody knows the lyrics, and it's not sing-alongable until the chorus.
And also remember, every single time they do pick the song of the game, A, B, or C, Oklahoma fans always pick the wrong one. They seem to pick Imagine Dragons almost every single time. Everyone's like, no, not Imagine Dragons. B, Imagine Dragons. And everyone's like, no.
The AT&T song of the game is the biggest farce of all time. We never get the good one. It's
That's
worst.
The biggest rigged election. Someone should really look into that one.
It's like, A, YMCA. And everyone's like, no, don't pick YMCA.
It's like the cuttlefish and asparagus versus vanilla paste.
It always moves around. It's always moving between the other ones, and I'm like constantly, as soon as it gets to the one I want, I'm like, stop the count. Stop the count.
Unexpected Imagine Dragon dumps.
Yeah. Where did these 6,000 Imagine Dragon boots come from?
Oh God! But yeah, no, this will be a good one. If this was normal times, it would be a perfect one to go tailgate at. And I don't know. That's one thing I love about AT&T Stadium more than anything. Probably the only plus it has is it's a great tailgating atmosphere. I not having that's a bummer. So
yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to Cruton Corner because we did get some news. Jamison. Let's hit that song.
David.
Yes?
What is this, David?
This is a
Cruton Corner with Jamison.
Everybody dancing.
Oh, that's nice.
I failed y'all.
Was it that nice?
It was not nice. I said that I felt very confident about getting 3 of our top 5 targets. And something happened. Let's start with Kamara Wheaton. What happened? Why did he commit to Alabama on December 23rd? There's reports that, we always talked about this whole year that he was a very recluse guy, an introvert, didn't really, do much on Twitter, didn't talk about it. It was hard to get a read what was going on with him, but we felt pretty good about OU coming down to things. He released a top 2, OU versus Alabama, and, there was a point in the year where we thought Texas was our biggest threat. So was Kamara Wheaton a pretty for sure in my mind towards Oklahoma? Absolutely. But something happened, and the story was allegedly somebody on the OU staff pressured him too much to commit, and it turned him off, and now he is an Alabama commit. He's not signed his NLI. He's not signed his papers. It's not legitimate yet. I'm hearing an echo, so I think we're good now. But the thing is, he's not signed his papers, so he isn't for sure Alabama. I think he might wait to sign until February. But he posted, this was the hardest decision of my life. But here it is, pretty much. Not even saying, like, roll tide, nothing. It was not a proud Alabama commitment. So maybe there's still a door open to get back in there. But someone pressured him too much, and it was not on the coaching staff. Supposedly, he had a very good relationship with DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray did really well in recruiting him. He kind of liked the idea of being recruited by a former NFL star. And Lincoln Riley always does well. It was somebody not on the staff. We don't know if that was a person like Annie Hansen or if that was someone on the outside recruiting staff. We don't know who it was. So essentially, he was turned off by too much pressure. So we can take one angle from that, 2 angles from that. One angle is he was truly turned off from pressure, and he's a little bit of a fickle person to where he didn't like that stress, and that did not do well. Do we want a guy like that who can't take a little bit of pressure? It seems a little too sensitive. He's got a lot of talent, but that would be kind of an annoying thing to move on. And then secondly, was he just faking it and he kind of wanted to Alabama and he just used that as a cop-out? I think that's more likely. We saw last year Jace McClellan didn't say anything until the last minute and then kind of moved to Alabama. Running backs want to go to Alabama because they produce more. And to be completely honest, we haven't produced that many running backs recently. Our running back mantra, Joe Mixon is pretty much it, but Samaje Perine, even though he's still in the league, hasn't really done much. And those have been our two big guys for the past, 5-6 years. So this court finds you guilty of jinxing. We sentence you to 10 weekends without Dr. Pepper. Oh,
no free ads. No free ads. No free ads. Okay, back to the.
Well, thank you for the viewer comment from a TL Ty Lee, whoever that is. So moving on to that's what happened with Kamar Wheaton. We could still get in the boat, but now we're going after a guy named LJ Johnson, number 4 running back in the country, still good out of Texas, but he seems to be a Texas A&M lean. But I think he kind of wanted to see everything that went down, all this drama, and then he can decide, do I want to go to Texas A&M, Texas, or OU? So if we push really hard, we have a chance, but this could be a dud, and we could be looking for a JUCO or a transfer running back, probably more so of a transfer running back. And there's no good transfer running backs right now, so we got to hope something pops up soon. Moving on to what happened with Bryce Foster. He committed to A&M, and I told y'all this one we got to worry a little bit because Texas A&M is a huge thing in his family, and his mom and his brother are huge legacies, and he ended up falling into the family legacy. I think he really enjoyed Oklahoma more. I think that we had a better plan set up for him to be a 2-sport athlete with track and field, but it's kind of hard to go against your family, and I think his family was very strong at A&M, and they did not want to have to deal with the blowback that they are also members on the Go Ag side on 247, plus having to cheer for Oklahoma. I don't think the family wanted to do that. So if he was just a neutral person, there's no doubt he'd beat Oklahoma. But I think family kind of pushed him towards that way. I still think he's happy as a Texas A&M commit, but the story kind of sucks. It really does. And then so we still got Tristan Lee to announce on January 2nd. I still feel good about that. I know that there's a lot of people talking about, he could go to Florida, go to Miami, blah, blah, blah. You hear that all the time. We heard that with Andrew Rame last year with Georgia. I still feel good about Tristan Lee. He's posting stuff about OU on Twitter. He's really good friends with Caleb Williams. Something that Bryce Foster was cool with Caleb Williams. Kamar Wheaton was cool with Caleb Williams, but he was not friends. Tristan Lee is friends with Caleb Williams. So I still feel good about Tristan Lee, and we should be happy about this class, even if we have kind of failed on a couple of our 5-star athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still a really good class, and losing a guy to Texas A&M, and who, again, like I said, legacy, and then losing a coin flip to Alabama. Nick Saban calls, you probably pick up and answer. That's better than like some of the previous matchups we've lost in the past. Losing to Texas, stuff like that. That doesn't happen anymore. We're losing to like the best of the best out there. You obviously don't want to be just okay with that, but things are improving in Norman.
Mm-hmm, definitely, and losing to Texas A&M hurts, but that's not like Texas A&M themselves outbeat us because of their performance this year. If Texas A&M would have been really bad this year, I bet you we could have gotten Bryce Foster. But family plus them actually being the number 5 team in the nation just hurts, and I don't think we could overcome that. But yeah, we got Savion Byrd, so that's a positive. We beat out SMU, so congratulations.
Yeah. They can take that gold Trans Am and send it way back because it did not work. Just kidding. They're probably not doing that anymore, I think. Anyways.
I don't know if Trans Am would be that motivating for people anymore.
Yeah, good point. Valid point. But yeah, hey, thanks for the Cruton Corner, as always. As we keep inching along towards the official National Signing Day, securing that class. But anyways,
very nice.
That's all I got to say. I think that's all we have, I guess, to preview on this last game of the year. So one more time for the road. Anything y'all want to say before we lock this up?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay. Ty, nothing?
Nope.
You good? Okay.
I gotta stick with my chain of like actual comments. So
yeah, there you go. Well, thank y'all so much for listening this full season. We will be back right after. If we win, we'll be back right after we beat Florida. If not, we'll probably just disappear for a month like we always do, and then just periodically post throughout the postseason. But you never know with us. We're a wild card once we once the season ends, that's when you never know when you're going to get us again. But yeah, we're gonna try to be better. We're gonna try to hopefully take our lump of coal if we lose this game, and maybe pod afterwards. But also you never know. But anyways, thank you for another great season. We'll see you soon. Boomer Sooner beat Florida. And if you're watching live, coming up next, we're making our bowl picks. So let me just find it and boop. Oh, Jamison's gone.
I'm coming. It's not as long as the Gary Patterson.
Yeah, normally you play the 4-minute long song.
Yeah, I pulled off the Gary Patterson because I kept getting copyright notices. Gary was going to bust down my door and take all my stuff. Do you need any more time? Okay, cool.
No, I thought I could cut it.
All right, yeah, we can cut it. We're fine.
Oh no, I thought I could make it.
Oh no, okay. Well, we're good. Hello and welcome to the Schooner Pod Bowl Special, where we're making our bowl picks. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me today, as always, we got Jamison, we got Ty, and we're here to take us out, finish off bowl season. Last week, we went through and made our very mediocre bowl picks, but now we actually have good games. So let's get this going. Let's start off the top with Tuesday's Cheez-It Bowl. Oklahoma State, Miami. Now again, we're only picking straight up. Just taking a quick look at our records, by the way. Jamison is in second overall in his bowl picks. I'm fourth. Old Trill Ty is sitting at seventh, but yeah, still a lot of games left to play. How are we feeling about our bowl pick'em so far?
Miserable. My confidence picks have been miserable. I'm in second, but it's because I put a lot towards the front. The picks Houston, I was very confident in. Hawaii just randomly shows up, and I said it in the pod last time. They randomly show up, and they decided to randomly show up, and Houston sucked. They just absolutely sucked. So that didn't make any sense. And then the green chickens last night really hurt. The teal chickens, that really hurt.
Teal chickens took 25 confidence points from me, which before then I was doing fine. All my losses were in my bottom 5 of confidence, but teal chickens just ripped my heart out and just punted it up into Hugh Freeze's hospital bed. So awful. Ty, how are you feeling about yours?
Yeah, so I'm not doing great percentage-wise right now, but out of my top 10 value picks, so because I have the point confidence, only one of them has been played, which I won, which was App State. So I'm very much, when I pull up my sort of pick 'em and how I have the games ranked, my 1-point game has been played, and the next highest that's been played is 13 points on Coastal Carolina. So I'm not too worried about the ranking down there at the bottom right now, because I'm very, very backloaded. So, I might have that little, 6,000 vote jump right there at the end. So hopefully.
There you go. Shout out to Thomas, who is in front with his entry of Rank Army. So good work there. Let's get down to business. Back to the Cheez-It Bowl. Oklahoma State, Miami, at the venerable Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. Ty, you've been on the Canes all season. How are you feeling about them against the Pokes?
Yeah, so I've been on the Canes, just to reference this. So I've been on the Canes in terms of picking the spread all season, and they have not disappointed me that I can remember. And this one it's in Florida. Miami has a lot of Florida men fans, and it's going to be a closer trip for them. And Oklahoma State, having just a really, really disappointing end of the season. So I really have, I have Miami here. I think it's, I think it's a pretty obvious one. Miami hasn't let me down. Like I said, I want to keep doing what I've been doing, through the postseason. So not going to change anything up. I know I was picking Oklahoma State a lot as well, but Miami has remained constant all season. Oklahoma State's been definitely trending down. So
Fair enough. And this is where we kind of need to see some comparison, in non-conference because, you don't really know. But, I just have not been big on Miami all season long, usually to my detriment. But you know what? I'm going to be a Big 12 Gooner here and go with the Pokes. I think they're a very solid team. I think they'll figure out a way to beat a middling Miami team, but this is really kind of a coin flip to me. I have this pretty low on my confidence, but yeah. Jamison, who do you got between the Pokes and the Hurricane?
Two disappointing teams. Oklahoma State is currently a 2.5-point favorite. It's a coin flip. I just can't believe in Oklahoma State, even after Miami's a horrific game versus UNC. So I'm going with Miami here, but not confident at all.
I'm just saying, OSU beat the Golden Hurricane, which by weight is a way heavier hurricane because it's made of solid gold. It's made of solid gold, folks. They beat the solid gold hurricane. Surely they can beat the normal hurricane.
Do we know that it's made out of solid gold, or do we know just if it's the color gold?
It's just specification. Oh God, no! Oh no! If you think of a color gold, like a golden, oh no! That's horrible. Tulsa, no. That sounds like something you would look up on Urban Dictionary. Oh God! Oh God! I would have spent a little more time on this as well. Cheez-It Bowl. Now it's in Orlando. It's moving up the ladder of bowl games. Soon it'll probably be the Cheez-It National Championship at this rate. Are we ready for just an entire bowl game of I woke up feeling the cheesiest, coach? Because I am. I'm all for it. I'm pumped. I'm also jealous.
You ain't got no knees cheese. They need to bring out all of them.
The classics. They need to bring out all the backlog. I need it. I need it so bad. I'm also very jealous of the Oklahoma State fans who get Cheez-It Bowl merch. One day when we suck bad enough, I would really like to have a Cheez-It Bowl t-shirt. So I don't know. That makes your crap. It's the little things in life. It makes your crappy season worth it, OSU. So who really won?
If Cheez-It could just sponsor the Red River game, that would just be.
Oh my God. The Cheez-It Red River shootout. Oh boy. All right, let's move on to our next game. We've talked about the Cheez-It Bowl for probably too long. Texas and Colorado, probably one of Ty's 40 favorite teams. So horns up versus the Buffs. Jamison, are you going one last ride with your Longhorns?
I have not thrown up the horns up in a long time. But I'm doing it now. I need it. I need it in my life. You know what? Texas, I thought they were going to have a bad end of the season, and Sammy boy kind of, Trill Sammy, he got everything going. So I'm going with Texas here.
Yeah, I look, Colorado has been very subpar this season. I know they're undefeated, but it's the Pac-12. It's garbage.
They're not undefeated. They're 4-1.
That's true. They were undefeated until they got shellacked by Utah. So I'm not impressed with their record. Their body of work isn't great. Texas, playing at the Alamo Bowl, that's their second home basically now. So I think they'll be comfortable. So yeah, let's go. Come on. I almost called them Pokes. Texas got this. So
yeah. So I think you guys know I've been a lifelong Colorado fan since at least 2018. Texas, I've also been super, super high on in terms of picking them in the pick'em this season. I don't know that I've picked against them outside of the OU game, actually. So this one's a difficult one. Bobby, like you said, Colorado is 4-1. They got screwed by the divisions in the Pac-12 for sure, in not making it to their conference championship. And they had one of their significant games, their Arizona State game, was canceled. So they don't have the most impressive body of work, but they are on a significant upward trend in terms of where that team has been lately and where they could go. And I think that could be the deciding factor, because I think to Colorado's coaching staff and players, this one means a lot. It could be sort of a national moment of recognition, beating a ranked team that's a big brand. So I'm going to Colorado here. I'm not super, super confident in it, but it's kind of a homer pick. But also, I think Texas doesn't have the motivation here. They're on a downward trend this season. even though they've kind of picked it up a little bit at the end. There's a lot of uncertainty there. I think Colorado really has a lot to play for. So.
Fair enough, for sure. Moving on to the New Year's Eve games. So we're gonna save OU Florida for the last here, but let's start off with Wake Forest and Wisconsin in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which is now the second best bowl game behind the Cheez-It Bowl. I don't know how to feel about this one. Wisconsin's been completely disappointing, but also Wake Forest is Wake Forest. Ty, I'll let you start on this one. You got Wake or Wisconsin here?
Let me just find it on my thing. Okay, yeah. So, as we all know, Wake Forest, part of a made-up trio of Purdue, Vandy, and Wake Forest, which are all the same thing that also doesn't exist. So they have that going against them. Wisconsin, very disappointing as usual. But Wisconsin is used to playing in the cold. I think they're in Green Bay or something like that, and it's cold there usually. So I don't know if they're playing somewhere cold or not, but it's easier to play somewhere hot when you're used to the cold than it is to play somewhere cold when you're used to the hot. I don't know where Wake
Charlotte. They're in
I don't know
Charlotte.
where Wake Forest is allegedly located, but it doesn't exist, so it doesn't matter. Give me Wisconsin.
Okay. This game sucks. 11 a.m. on a Wednesday. Everyone will still be working. Give me Wisconsin though. They've been iffy. They've been up and down, but I don't know. I'm going to be the sucker once again and just roll with Wisconsin here. I have this at like 4 on my confidence, so I don't feel great about it, but whatever. Jamison, Wisconsin or Wake?
Bobby's a former Wake Forest stan. I'm surprised not to see a Wake Forest here.
True.
Here's the problem. I did pick Wake Forest, and I'm starting to look at it some more. Wisconsin playing in the Mayo Bowl. That's cheese. Cheese goes pretty well with mayonnaise, I guess, on sandwiches.
What?
You put cheese on a sandwich?
That is absolutely getting taken out of context and memes.
Who puts cheese and mayonnaise together?
Well, you
Cheese
put it
goes-
with a ham
no, okay,
sandwich,
yeah,
like
yes,
turkey, cheese,
yes.
and mayonnaise. Is
No.
that
Okay, fair enough.
In the full context, it's not that weird, but the statement "cheese goes really well with mayonnaise"
Okay, yeah.
is getting memed for eternity now.
Out of context.
Okay.
But so I originally had Wake Forest, but I'm gonna stick with it because it really doesn't matter anymore. Wisconsin, it just sucks. But even though Wake Forest just got destroyed 24 by birds with teeth, I'm just gonna pick Wake Forest for the fun of it. So give me Wake Forest, very, very low confidence.
Oh man.
Great analysis, everybody.
There we go. Great work. Hey, it's Wake Forest, Wisconsin. Nobody cares. Moving on to the trans perfect Music City Bowl, Iowa and Missouri. Good Lord, I hate it. I hate all of this. Why?
I pick Iowa next.
I'm going with Iowa, but take the spread with Missouri. I was favored by 14 for some reason. Why? So give me the Hawkeye. Give me the Hawkeyes.
This one deserves no credit. 2 garbage teams. I'm going to take Iowa in this one.
There we go. Moving on to New Year's Eve. We're kicking it off with the Tulsa Golden Hurricane and Mississippi State at the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. 6-2 Tulsa, 3-7 Mississippi State. Ty, do you think the Golden Hurricanes are good enough to beat a 3-7 Mississippi State team coached by a pirate?
I don't. Here's the thing: Mississippi State has that, like you like to say, super weapon thing going on, where they're either not there, like they just show up completely dormant and just get like the crap kicked out of them, or they come out and score like 70 points against whoever it is. Only when it's a bad team, though. Tulsa is not a bad team. And as much as I would like the storyline with Mississippi State, I think Tulsa's, if you look back at body of work, I think their UCF win really tells the tale here. I think what UCF is, normally is what Mississippi State is on their high end of average right now. in terms of ability to move the ball and stuff. So I have Tulsa in this one. Let me just double check that that's what I have on the pick 'em, because I don't want there to be like.
You can always change it just to what you said here.
Yeah, I have Tulsa. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I know there's a lot of question about motivation about trying to beat a 3-7 team. Tulsa's going to come out, try to win this game. They are missing Zaven Collins, the best defensive player of the year, apparently, which is a huge loss. But you know what? Tulsa's good. Tulsa's good enough to beat a 3-7 Mississippi State.
It's an SEC team. That's a big thing for Tulsa recruiting wise.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're gonna come out firing. Give me the Golden Hurricane here to win that one. Jamison?
Yeah, I agree totally. I think Tulsa has more motivation to win this game, even though this type of picking where I pick off motivation did not suit me well in the last week of Pick'em. But yeah, give me the Hurricanes to shower all over them, right? You used that one. You used that one.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's a Bobby throwback. That's a Bobby throwback.
Oh no! Hey, Ty said something totally worse than that in the OU pod, so we're good.
No, I did not.
You said "suck the rumble dick," bitch.
I thought you meant the Epstein thing.
Yeah, no, not the Epstein thing. Oh my god! Oh god! Okay, moving on to the offer pad.
If someone's listening to this out of context, I did not make a joke about that. I just mentioned the fact that I used to live nearby.
Okay,
at the same time.
Fine. Fair enough. Jameson looked like he went into the anonymous speaking mode with his lighting there. I fully do not blame him. I fully don't blame him. Let's move on to the offer pad Arizona Bowl, Ball State and San Jose State. Jameson, who'd you got?
Yeah, San Jose, whatever.
San Jose, Ball State looked good against Buffalo for sure, but San Jose just a better team.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you guys exactly how much for gaming purposes, but I have a lot of confidence points on this one for some reason, and I'm picking San Jose State.
Also, what the hell is an offer pad? Stupid. Okay,
Is that it sounds like an off-brand Post-it note.
Probably. I don't know. Moving on to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
No free ads.
No free ads. West Virginia and Army. West Virginia brought in Army after they were bowlless. After some team dropped out. I don't care. I think it was Tennessee. Tennessee left. Yeah, so West Virginia with a short prep time against the triple option. Ty, do you think the Mountaineers are going to handle Army here, or do you think they'll get tripped up?
This one is confusing. So I'll try to go quick because I have a few things to say. West Virginia by far is favored in FPI, which is really, really odd to me this season. FPI I feel like is really good sometimes, really bad other times. Army 9-2, very impressive. They are on a bit of a downward trend for them in terms of just how big they're winning their games. I was not a fan. I was very opposed to sort of the campaign that Army's coach was doing in terms of we should play someone. I understand for their, win-loss and some of the other teams that are playing. They should have been in a bowl. That's sort of the tie-in screwed everything up this year. But, the whole, if you don't let us play someone, you're not supporting the troops or like the troops. No one in the military, unless you graduated from West Point, cares about West Point football. Like that's such a BS. Like all the troops are 1 point whatever million troops care about this game. No, they don't. No one cares. And then this whole these Army players they want to play one last game before they go to war. What war? There's no war right now. There's not they're not doing any unless they're going to go fly drones, and then they're not really in danger. So, yeah, don't buy into that storyline, please. Don't feel bad for the West Point kids. But yeah, give me Army.
Okay, yep, there you go. I'm going to go with Army as well. This is you don't want to. There's a reason why nobody wanted to play Army. It's because they're tricky. You don't want to have a short week to get ready for the triple option. It's tricky. We saw OU fall into that. So a 5-4 West Virginia. I think this is going to be a sloppy, messy game. We saw Kansas State lose to Navy in the Liberty Bowl last year. So yeah, give me Army to trip up another middling Big 12 team here. Yeah, Jamison.
Give me West Virginia. I think the real team that was screwed not getting into a bowl is Boko. So let's change the mantra there, because they were completely like the Gasparilla Bowl could have been one of the best ever, but they decided not to. But yes, give me West Virginia. I'm just, from what I've seen from Army, I've just not been that impressed. I'm sorry, I just don't see that. West Virginia, I understand they've had their hiccups as well, but I just don't think that they're the stereotypical, military team we've seen in bowls in the past. I just don't think Army's that this year.
Hey, fair enough. Moving on to the Mercari Texas Bowl. Okay. Arkansas and TCU. That's a 3-7 Arkansas versus a 6-4 TCU team. Former Southwest Conference rivalry here. So, Jamison, who do you got in this one? Arkansas has looked better this season, but are they good enough to beat TCU?
I'm actually really excited to watch this game. I think this is going to be really good. I'm going with TCU, but Arkansas is going to put up a fight. TCU is a 5-point favorite. I think Arkansas can cover. Give me a close one, but I think Max Duggan can hold it out for him.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute duel. I love the matchup, but give me Duggan, and who's gotten better as the season's progressed. This TCU team has gotten better. So yeah, give me the Frogs here. Ty?
Yeah, echo all you guys' points. Outstanding matchup, I think, in terms of two teams that are really competitive, a little bit different, but are going to play super close. And then I also have TCU, just because I've seen a little bit more impressive and some more fight from them, off and on this season.
Awesome. Moving on to our first New Year's Six game that we are picking. It's Georgia and Cincinnati. The 7-2 Dogs versus the 9-0 Bearcats. So Cincinnati misses the college football playoff by a long mile. Are they going to be fired up to take on Georgia, who's essentially playing a home game here? We'll find out. But Ty, are the Dogs going to be barking at the Bearcats, or is it going to be another big win for the group of five?
I think one, it's a tragedy that we didn't mention. The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl was canceled. That was one of the New Year's ones.
That is not great.
Great bowl, yeah, not great. But yeah, so to keep it short, Cincy, very impressive season, very impressive body of work. I think that Georgia is on a really good sort of streak right now in how they're playing, and I need Georgia to win, because I cannot stand when group of five teams do this thing where they win out and then claim a national championship. And we all know that they would have got absolutely exposed by the actual playoff teams. I don't think that Georgia's going to drop the ball here. I really think that Georgia's going to carry the day. And I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I don't think it's going to be that competitive.
I'm with you here. I'm going to go with Georgia on this one. Mainly because, I feel like they always figure it out whenever they're playing games close to home against these group of five teams. I still have them blowing out the Colt Brennan Hawaii team fresh in my mind. This is a team that's gotten better. Ever since JT Daniels took the reins, they've been improving. Still not great, but I think they're going to be good enough to beat Cincinnati. Also, I had a bunch of angry Cincinnati fans in my mentions last week because I said Tulsa, I thought if they played again, they would have beaten them. And they got all
super high on Cincy all season.
I was high on them until they started getting mad at me in my DM or my messages.
The fan. That's why I couldn't get on the Coastal train, because I kept seeing their comments on Instagram. And I was like, yeah, no, I got to root against these guys.
Yeah, no, they're. I don't want to root for them because they're like, it was raining. We couldn't. We would have played it better if it was not raining. I'm like, no, Georgia's gonna kick the crap out of Cincy. I'm calling it. Yeah, so give me UGA here, Jamison.
Yeah, Georgia still has something to prove, because I feel like they got put in a lot lesser light than they did than they should have this year. People are really down on their offense and their quarterback play, and whenever you're down on quarterback play, you're viewed as a lesser team. So I think Georgia's got something to play for here. In Cincinnati, they were good, but I don't think that they can be giant killers. Even if they made the playoffs, I don't think they had a chance. So give me Georgia here.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the Verbo Citrus Bowl. Auburn 6-4, playing Northwestern, who's 6-2. Jamison, who do you got here? This is kind of a gross game. Auburn, Northwestern.
Yeah, I'm going to go Auburn and put it low confidence. I hate picking Auburn, but Northwestern, I understand their defense looked really good. I just don't know how much of it is Ohio State just looking bad this season and people not really just seeing it, because they never played really anyone too legit. But yeah, give me Auburn just for the fact they have better players.
Fair enough. I think Northwestern has this one very, very, very low on Bo Nix, and I was impressed with Northwestern scrapping it up against Ohio State. So give me the Northwestern Wildcats to get a win here. Ty?
Yeah, I have Northwestern, just like Jamison said. It's as low as I can put it. Confidence points. It's my 2-point game. So, yeah, not confident on this one, and I don't feel like it's going to be a good one to watch either. Might be close.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be fun.
Fair enough. Moving on to our first college football playoff semifinal, the Rose Bowl game in Arlington, Texas. Call it the Yellow Rose Bowl if you want. Shout out to whoever I saw post that on Twitter. Notre Dame, Alabama. This one's easy, right, Ty?
Oh, this is my highest point game. This is so obvious. It's going to be biblical. I don't even think I have to say who. Well, maybe the biblical reference is going to throw it off. So give me Bama here by far. Absolutely. They're going to get exposed. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, no, as is tradition, Notre Dame is going to just get absolutely rocked here. It might be close for a quarter, but I think this Alabama team is so far and away better than Notre Dame. It's not going to be funny. So give me Alabama here.
Yeah, give me Alabama. If Notre Dame would have put up a little bit more of a fight versus Clemson in the ACC championship game, I'd say it might be closer than you think. I'd still pick Alabama, but I didn't see much from Notre Dame to give me any confidence that they're going to pick up, fight, and try to win versus Alabama. I mean, obviously they're going to try, but I don't think they've got it in them.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the All-State Sugar Bowl, we got Ohio State, Clemson, a 6-0 Ohio State. Good on them versus 10-1 Clemson. Jamison, do you think the Buckeyes will finally get over the hump and take out Clemson, or is it just going to be more of the same?
It's going to be more of the same. I have not seen anything from Ohio State this season that I've been impressed with. I'm not big on Indiana, and they almost blew it versus Indiana. There's no excuse there. Ohio State, like Northwestern game. Northwestern has a decent defense, but like they were toying with them for nearly 3/4 of that game. That's honestly embarrassing. Justin Fields has shown to not be as good as people thought he was, and his stock in the draft is dropping quickly. Zach Wilson is almost consensus being picked over him, and Trey Lance in some mock drafts from North Dakota State. Give me Clemson and give it comfortably.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Clemson Tigers here. They've definitely improved, gotten better. When they're clicking. And just honestly, I'm with you. Ohio State has just been piddling around all season long. That 6-0 is not even impressive. The Buckeyes just kind of frustrate me in every sense of the word. And, frankly, Clemson has this one. I think they're going to win decisively, but I could see it being about a 10-point game. But I do think they're going to be way too much for Ohio State. They're way, way better. Give me the Tigers here.
Decisive victory by Clemson. They're going to lead the whole time. I don't necessarily know that it's going to be like a 3-touchdown blowout, but they're going to win by at least 2 scores.
Yep. Moving on to
control the game the whole time. Yeah.
Moving on to the next day of games, we got NC State, Kentucky. 8-3 NC State and 4-6 Kentucky. Somehow Kentucky's favored by 2.5. What a gross game. I hate this bowl slate. But Ty, do you got the do you got NC State pulling ahead here, or as a scrappy dog, or you rolling with Kentucky in the Gator Bowl?
No, I definitely have NC State here.
Yeah,
I think that's all there is to it.
Fair enough. I have this one about six points. I have NC State, but I do not feel confident in it at all. Jamison.
My bad. I was on mute. My bad. I like NC State here. Kentucky has shown nothing this year to any redeeming qualities at all. And at least NC State has shown a little bit here. So give me NC State.
Hammer that NC State money line. That's silly. Moving on to the Outback Bowl, one of our greatest college football traditions. We have 4-5 Ole Miss against 6-1 Indiana. Jamison, who do you got in this? You think Lane can pull off an upset?
Yes, give me Lane Kiffin just for the fun of it. Let me go Ole Miss over Indiana, stunning everybody with a big old offensive splat in Indiana's face.
Good God, that'd be horrible. I'm going to go with Indiana here. I think they're, even though they haven't played a lot, they are still a scrappy team. After losing, Penix for the season, I think they were resilient. Give me the Hoosiers to win this one. They still have stuff to play for, and Ole Miss just not a great team.
You do know that Ole Miss is coached by Lane Kiffin, and the Outback Bowl is in Florida. Do you think that Lane Kiffin is going to get there and give even a thought to football? I don't think so.
He did pretty well in Florida.
That's not Lane Kiffin. That's not him. That's not who he is. He's got undergrads to meet up with. He's got things to do down there in Florida. He's not going to care. And even if he did, he's not a good coach. He's good at getting hired, though. So props to that future Texas coach, Lane Kiffin. But, I think Indiana here is a very obvious take, especially if we're picking outright.
Tampa needs to be worried here. We got we got Joey Freshwater coming back to town. All right, moving on to the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, number 25 conference champion Oregon and number 10 Iowa State. So what a weird matchup for Iowa State here, because Oregon, not a great team, backdoored their way into a New Year's Six bowl. But Iowa State, they've been known to disappoint at times. Oregon or Iowa State, Ty?
Iowa State.
Yeah, I'm with you. Iowa State's going to kick the crap out of Oregon. They've been mediocre all season. And, they beat a mediocre USC team. So it took a fraud to expose the fraud that is USC. The entire conference is a fraud. Drop it off into the ocean. I don't like them. Get rid of the Pac-12. Iowa State wins big. Wins one real big for the conference here.
Yeah. I mean, I could really see Oregon beating Iowa State here. I really could. But I'm picking Iowa State. I think it'll be closer than y'all are saying.
I didn't. All I said was Iowa State. I didn't say it was going to be a blowout.
Well, I guess what Bobby was saying.
I just didn't think that they deserved analysis.
Fair enough. I think it will be like embarrassingly close for a while, but Iowa State pulls ahead. That sort of deal. Like I don't know. It's Iowa State's frustrating. Same with Oregon. Moving on to the Capital One Orange Bowl, Texas A&M, North Carolina. Aggies favored by 7, but we're picking outright. Jamison, do you think people are overvaluing North Carolina here?
This is tough. I've been burned time and time again picking against A&M, and I'm going to do it again just for fun. You know what? Who cares? I'm going to pick UNC. Texas A&M needs to be shown that they're a fraud, and I do not want to be picking them. So this is an extremely selfish pick. Yes, Texas A&M should win. If I was using my brain, I would be picking Texas A&M, but I'm picking completely with my heart. I want Texas A&M to falter, so I'm going to pick UNC.
Fair enough. Look, last time the great North Carolina Tar Heels were in Hard Rock Stadium, they absolutely shellacked Miami. I think they find some more of that magic and pull out a close win over the Aggies.
Yeah, I gotta
though.
play. Yeah, I gotta play. I gotta play to win. I hate to go against North Carolina. I've been super high on them all season. Love everything about them. Their storyline, their uniforms. Love Mac over there, but I think that Texas A&M is more legit than they've been in a long time, and I think that North Carolina is maybe an ACC version of like Iowa State. Like they're just gonna play good and beat you if you let them. But they have some really, really embarrassing losses, especially that Florida State one. So I'm going to have to go with A&M here. I mean, A&M's only loss is to Bama, who I believe is by far the best team in the country. So give me A&M.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the biggest game of the bowl season. We have the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Number 7, Florida. Number 6, Oklahoma. The Gators favored by 3. Let's get down to business. Ty, do you think OU is going to pull off the upset and get a massive win here?
I I sure hope so. Might be an emotional hedge. Currently, might change, but currently I have Florida. I've been back and forth, but super low confidence points. I really don't know. I think OU has it in them, but just with Trey Brown being out on the defense and Florida really being able to throw the ball well with a good quarterback and Dan Mullen at coach. I don't know that he's a better coach than Lincoln Riley, but I think that he is a better coach than what our defense can play against. So from really, I would be super confident in OU if our offense had been, a little bit better, sort of in the last half of the season. But with our offense really struggling in some situations to put up points, I think that could be a deciding factor. I don't think the defense is going to struggle. I think they're going to play really well against a really, really good Florida offense. But I am, for the first time in a long time with OU, worried about our ability to score. And worried about our ability to keep up if it comes down to that. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. But yeah, I'm concerned about OU's ability to score. So right now I have Florida, but who knows as we get closer.
Fair enough, and I'm kind of with you there. My heart is wanting me. It's like I want to go with OU really bad, but also I just know how this goes with OU sometimes in these big games, and it's tough. But I have faith that OU is going to get this done. Lincoln Riley gets bowl win number 1, and the Sooners pull it out. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. But at the end of the day, I think the offensive genius of Lincoln Riley and OU and is just a cut above what Florida has to offer. I think the improved defense will be a big part of this. But in general, I don't know. Give me the Sooners here in a close game. It's going to be a nail biter. This is really a coin flip. Low confidence for me, but really has the potential to be the bowl of the season. I usually say that as a joke, but this really is one of the better evenly matched matchups we have in the entire slate. So give me the Sooners in a close one, but it's the margin is narrow. Jamison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Florida opened up around 4.5 on some sites and it's moved down to 3 on most of them. So more Oklahoma money is coming in. I really do feel good about OU here, and this is not just me being a homer. I've picked against OU a couple times this season against the spread, even though we've done really well against the spread. The thing is defense. Florida's defense has not shown me that they are legitimate. I understand they have talent and they've had some good moments, but it's not a typical SEC defense. I think if Spencer Rattler can get protected by the offensive line and do his thing, which I know is a big if, I think that we can put up plenty of points. And whenever it puts up plenty of points, it's who's the better defense, who's gonna make the big play, the big sack, the big turnover at the end of the game that's gonna cause the game to shift. And I think we've got the guys in the defensive line that can do that. So give me Ronnie Perkins making a huge play for the win in a last-minute drive for Florida and us winning by, let's say, 3.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, last time we played Florida, we were in their house in Miami. Now they're coming to Norman South, really, in AT&T Stadium. OU just does well in that venue. I feel good about the Sooners. I feel good but cautious.
And I will say this. I didn't think about this earlier, and I love storylines. I love picking the games for the storylines because it just makes sense in my head sometimes. The DeMarco Murray point you made earlier about how we didn't have him in the championship and now we have him on our coaching staff, that is some smart man take that the announcers will say oh, he wasn't there whenever they played him, but now they have him, and it's going to be posted on Twitter afterwards if we win. It just makes too much sense. I can just see it in my head. I just had a revelation that is totally going to be a smart person take on Twitter.
Yep, the circle is now complete. That's
put it in your drafts, Bobby, right now.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
A game day. It's going to be a game day segment. I bet you're going to touch on it.
Oh God, yeah. I'll get it in the drafts for the Scooter Pod's 4th tweet of the season. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for picking this year, both with the weekend spread and the bowl special. So, another very successful year for the Scooter Pod. Anything you want to say before we sign off for the year?
We will be good sports and give us a post game, even if we lose, because even like those games where in the playoffs, it's extremely down. If we lose, I'm mad for a long time. This is just not a playoff. So if we lose, it's going to suck, but it's not going to be where I'm sulking for a long time. So we should be able to give y'all a post game.
Yeah, it's an It's a exposition. What am I saying? It's an exhibition. It doesn't matter in the long term. Even if we lose, it won't be on our anywhere close to the worst OU losses. So yeah, I'm with you there. But hey, just keep the faith. Keep rooting for the Sooners. Ty, anything?
Are we not doing a national championship short at least?
We don't have a national championship.
We'll do it. We'll do it at our post game.
We'll do it whenever. We'll do it. We'll do it when it comes together. But
maybe we can convince Bobby and Jamison to do some more off-topic, off-season stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Football traditions or things like that.
Or just do a podcast and just see where our brains take us. Bring
back Off the Wagon.
Ooh, I like that. I'm all for it, but just try to do more, do new things, do fresh stuff. We'll see where it goes. But thank you for being on this journey with us. And we will see you soon. Boomer Sooner.